off. Today is day 346. Right? Right. Yeah, day 346 of the year of streaming and learning to code. We are continuing on with project number 8, Simple Calculator. We have finally got ourselves a cat. Your ass is uh, it's keeping my nose warm. If you could move a little, thank you. Dear God. All right. Well, aside from the cat issues, completely ridiculous. We've got a semi-functional calculator. In fact, a mostly functional calculator is how I would even categorize it. So, hey, updated. Nice. Okay, updated calculator with all kinds of fun stuff. See that little kitty? Yeah, she doesn't really care. Although she did type in a 1. You gonna keep typing other things? The spacebar? I don't think the spacebar does anything. That's an 11. And did you hit the multiply button? No? Maybe? No, look at you, little kitty. Yeah, you want the love. Who loves you? I do. And chat, but mostly me. Oh yeah, who's got your tail? Who's got your tail? What's this? Is that a tail? Yeah, it's a tail. I've also got your toes. Wow, you're hunkering down for some serious loving right now. We're actually not doing snuggle time. You're more than welcome to assume the napping position. Wow, just cat, can you do something? Did you really do 6 times or 11 times 67 with your little kitty toes? I think you did. I think we should move you or enter. If we run your calculation, will you move? There you go. Assume the napping position. No, 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 no. Back, back. Just there. See? Look at this. Oh, good cat. Now move. Jimmy. Yeah. Okay, she's gone. She's gone. Although you're navigating through the Twitch app, so that's on our phone. That's tragic. Yes, farewell, feline. Farewell. So let's at least run her calculation. Little kitty managed to type all of this in with her toes of destruction. So I think it's only fair that we run her calculations. Ta-da, look at that, little kitty. It's 7. Nope, she's gone. Well, she's napping on the floor behind us now. 734. You hear that? Tell your friends, little kitty. Tell your friends. So that happened. We can clear it. What were we doing? So we've got an updated calculator for our example project. Pretty cool. And speaking of updated calculators, we have our updated calculator. Well, as far as the functionality goes, it's no longer completely broken. We had... Let's see. There we go. Our calculator is still comical looking. It is very basic, so we are going to not adjust the looks, but finally, I think the easiest thing to do would be to add the if statements of sorts to our division, because we don't want to divide by 0. As long as number doesn't equal 0, we should be able to divide. Is it just number? I feel like it's both. What if subtotal was 0? What if we did 1 minus 1 is 0, divide by 3? No, I guess that's okay. 0 divided by 3 is fine. It's 3 divided by 0. It's only number that can't be 0. So as long our condition will be as long as 0 isn't in the photo, we'll be good. We will be good. I would like to note there's another side issue. I've got my iPhone of sorts, and with whatever the most recent update was, where for historical purposes it's December something. Well, okay. Now it's December 13th. As of 6.5 minutes ago, it was December 12th. But December 12th ish, 2017, with whatever the most recent update was, we've been experiencing issues where similar things like 0 or other things like that, I don't know why, it's been triggering Siri on our phone constantly since the last update. For the last like week and a half now, we keep slurring things or whatever words that sound slightly similar to Siri keep triggering her damn presence on her phone, and it's ridiculous. It's happened more times in the last week and a half. Doesn't change the stream, just thought I'd throw that out there. It's been troublesome. Let's crack open this really quick, and then give me just a moment. Chrome, View, Developer, JavaScript console. Okay, we are good. Don't mind me. Tiny crisis. Think amongst yourselves. Alright, crisis averted. Continuing on. Let's do this. Let's break some new ground on day 346. The calculator from hell. Refresh. Everything's fine. Hey, look! The stray semicolons are gone. The stowaways from last night? No? You don't remember? I remember. Here we go. 1, 2, 3 plus 4, 5, 6 plus 7, 8, 9 equals a number. Isn't that fascinating? And then I can do minus 1. And it will equal something. And it equals the right number. Can I multiply by 2? Unfrickin' believable. The numbers work correctly. Now, what if I divide it by 2? See that? Divide auto-triggered something. And then what if we do divide again? Infinity. We've awoken the Kraken. Typical. Typical indeed. Why do all the other numbers function just fine? Why is division giving us the beef? We should address that issue. Subtotal plus number. Subtotal minus equals number. Subtotal times equals number. And subtotal divide by equals number. Subtotal divide by equals number. Maybe it's a sign? I don't know. Something about that needs to change. What about that needs to change? We also need to set up clear. Clear does... I don't know what clear does. Clear does something. We are at another fork in the road regarding our code. We are faced with... We deal with the division aspect. If number does not equal 0, proceed with the following. However, if it does equal 0, we'll have it return something. I don't know what we'll have it return, but we'll have it console log. Yeah, we'll have it console log something. Console log. We'll do else. Console log. Console log what? Can't divide by 0. Or error? Oh dear God. Don't we have to put a slash in front of it? I thought it was some type of slashy thing that freed the beast and allowed us to do the following. We'll just write divide by 0. Fair enough. We'll throw it in quotes. We don't have to, but we can. Save. Refresh. So we've got 1, 2, plus 3 equals -1 equals 14 times 2 equals 28. And now we hit divide. But we need to give it a number to divide by. We have 28 and we hit divide. We need to space out what is occurring. I want to do divide by 4 equals 3.5. So it did divide 14 by 4. But we need it to hold off on dividing stuff. When we hit divide, it's almost like hitting the equals sign. We need it to wait while we select a number. See, we got 28. We did, 14 times 2 equals 28. But then we hit divide and it auto ran this line 94, instantly because we told it to. That's not weird. The fact is that, it did exactly what we told the code to do. But we don't want that to occur just yet. Not like the rest of these. This is a different beast. This is a different beast. Once we hit divide, we need to give ourselves time to determine at what rate we want that number to be divided by. You know what? What happens when I do multiply? So 4 times 2. Yeah, we need to set up the same failsafe for multiplication as well. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Hold on. Let me piece these things together. Just a second. Tiny crisis. Na 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 na. Alright. Crisis mostly averted. Dum. Back into calculator hell. Dee. Dum. So both of these we need to delay the calculation until we enter a follow-up number. This works fine. And the multiplying works fine if we need to have... How do we set that up? How do we set that up? Because we can't just have the same standing number can equal 0 for multiply. What if we are trying to multiply by 0? What if we are trying to multiply by 0? 4. See, when we hit multiply, boom, it's doing 4 times 0, and it's returning that. Versus refresh 1 plus 2 times that's 1 and 2. Clear. What if we do 2 plus 3 times the It's remembering the 2. So we need to tell it to chill. We need to take how would we alter our code to tell it to not? I mean, obviously, yes, we need to just get rid of this line and modify it, but I'm trying to figure out what I'm replacing it and how I'm changing it. So this was a good example. 2 plus 3 would be 5 times and it's auto-calculating it. One, we need to have 2 plus 3 store itself somewhere. We need to have subtotal update 2 plus 3 equals 5. How do we get this 5 to show up here after 3? Two plus 3 equals 5. We need to run subtotal again. But we're already running subtotal after we hit plus. Damn. Subtotal. It's almost as if we need to run it a second time after we zero out number. But I don't know why. It doesn't make sense in my mind to have it set up just like that. Or only to that extent. I realize operator we're setting up as plus. In fact, copy. Why? Number does get zeroed out. We need to run it. I want to show everything, zero that out, have operator run, and then it's like we need to run it all again with the 0 in place to like recache everything. I don't know. I'm overthinking this again. I'm overthinking and underthinking at the same time. One plus 2 I wanted to console log immediately that the total is currently 3. 1 plus 2. As soon as I update a number, I need to have it almost like it's in a function that's being called every single time. It's that's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. I want it to always take that number and do something with it. Every single time I run through, I want it to total it up. The issue is figuring out when it's a string. We don't just want it to have 1 plus 2 and total up there immediately, because what if it's 23? Clear. 1 plus 2. It's not that I can't, and it's not that I shouldn't. It could calculate to 3 here. And then as soon as I add another digit to make it 23, then it would recalculate to 24. Where do I need to store that variable? And what will that variable be? That will be... Do we call it total? Yes, we will call it total, and we don't need to have it as a function. We will have it as a variable. Variable total will equal... We can get rid of memory. And it will be copy total operator. Wait. We'll have a total function or variable. How do I set this up? How do I... I've got those 4 scenarios. Operator will equal blank. You know what we do? We find the... Will the HTML, like the character code, will that solve our problem? I want to be able to just run the number immediately. Operator. Number. Those will be constantly updated. This will be constantly updated. Zenith, this total is almost the same exact thing as the equals function. Is that what I need to do every time I run this? instead of having all this noise at the bottom, do I just need to run equals again? That's what I need to do. Copy. Right? If I want an up-to-date answer of what's happening, I do plus, and it will always change with each number. Will it always change with each number? No, it won't. It won't change. It'll change when we hit the operator button, but it won't change with each number with each click that we throw at it, which is what I am looking for. So with each case and with each click, we're going to leave this here for now. Refresh. Yeah, line 18. We've pissed off the JavaScript gods at line 18. Unexpected identifier. Yeah, your mother. Okay, so we won't need that. Save, refresh. If we want it with each click event, well then we should set it up with each click event. It will run whatever it needs to, and we will run equals. And it's totally fine if we run equals out of the gates because subtotal and number are 0. Operator doesn't have a value yet. Why is it all falling apart? How do I get that? How do I have the constant update to it? 1 plus 2 damn. Get rid of that. We just need to change these two. Plus and minus are fine. It's when we go to divide and multiply, we need to have it wait for all of a moment. And we don't want the number 0. It's whenever we're coming from a number before it that the 0 is updating. It's updating number to 0, which is fine the majority of the time. But for multiplying and dividing, it creates problems. Clear back to 2 plus 3, and then hitting multiply times. So it should be 5 right now, and then we hit multiply, but instead it's taking these values and multiplying. We don't need or want that. Oh my god, I tell my code exactly what I want it to do. I tell it to take subtotal and... Hold on. I tell it to run the last operation, which is equals. So I have it run equals. Oh my god. That's what it is. I have it run equals. And then after that, no, because now... My head hurts. McGreenberg. Hey, McGreenberg, how you doing? No, you can't evaluate with a variable as an operator. Oh, for the crazy idea I was trying to do earlier up top and shove things in places. Yeah, it was tragic. It's still tragic, but hold on, I think well not hold on. Feel free to give as many tips as you want. Did I mention aside from all the craziness, we've got a relatively functional calculator? Clear 1 plus 3 or not no 1 2 3 plus 4 5 6 plus 7 8 9 equals a thing, and then I can do -1 equals, and it functions. I don't know if you were there for the end of the stream, but the calculator mostly works. Now we're adjusting for multiplication and division and the fun little quirks that associate them. But if we were to throw this calculator into a river, it would float for all about 2 seconds, then it would sink like a normal calculator. But that's the important part, is that it's relatively functional. At least for the basic arithmetic. Now I'm just trying to alter. I use the same song and dance for all 4 situations. That's not what's needed. It is not the same key for all of these doors. So as we use our highlight scenario, 2 plus 3 times, and it's currently giving us 6, 2 plus 3 should give us 5, and then when we click multiply, technically nothing should happen. It should just be ready and waiting to receive. So nothing should happen. So we hit multiply. That gets stored to operator. So we run equals when we've got 2 and 3. 2 is our number, plus it's running 2 plus 0 as the subtotal, because that's what it's defaulting to, which is fine. So that's cool. That throws out the subtotal. Or it should update the subtotal on the screen. Which is currently 2, because 2 plus 0. We've only filled out the number. Eventually, subtotal will be more. Number gets updated, back to 0, and operator gets stored. There's a plus sign floating, waiting in the wind. Hey, Napcats. Nice. Napcats throws computer into the river. If it gets the job, if it's needed for the job, and if it gets the job done, yes, sign us up for it. I'd happily chuck this beast into a river. Our Mac Mini, we'd be able to throw our Mac Mini like a frisbee. It would be great. Da, 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 da. Okay, so I need to. We're so close. We're running through step by step. So 2 is the number. Subtotal's still 0. We hit the plus key, so we update operator from nothingness to the plus sign. And this is good. We've got 2, then we do 3, the same song and dance. Kind of, the same song and dance momentarily repeats for a brief second. No, the same song and dance doesn't repeat. We just have a 3 floating in space. Our new number is 3, with all of our 2 equation floating there. So now we've updated number to 3, but that's up top. This is now 3. All of this information is still the 2 equation. 2 plus 0. This is all 2 plus 0. Up top is now 3. Now, depending on the next operator we click on, which in this case would be multiply, we need it to run the last calculation that occurred. An operator hasn't been updated yet. When we click on multiply or times, it will trigger the equals function, which still has the current 2 plus 0 operator of plus, which means it will run that case of 2 plus 0, giving us a total, oh dear God, a subtotal of 5. This is why I think we need to have total instead of in addition to subtotal, is have total, and then from there we can do total times something. So yeah, that will work up to that point. Okay, but immediately after running equals, it will start to chip away at the rest of this. We don't want that. We don't want subtotal. Do we want subtotal? We do. Let's, dear God, get rid of McGrainberg. I hope that if there's one thing you take away from this project, is OOP is a good idea. I think that's definitely started to sink in. Hopefully it sticks. It's been an uphill battle, that's for sure. So we run equals. Do we need to do anything else? We still need to keep our multiplying. Yes, we take this. If number doesn't equal 0. Yes. We run that, and then if number doesn't equal 0, I feel like that's a vicious loop of failure, because even in the equals sign, we're setting number back to 0. So how do we ever... Because when we click equals, it's the loop. It's how and when things get stored. So we have subtotal is 0. We have a fresh calculator. Subtotal is currently 0 right now. It's 0 over here, and it's currently 0 here. When we click 2, number updates to 2, subtotal stays 0. When we click plus, it's doing 0 plus 2, and it spits it out. That'll be fine. We have our operator that it triggers all this noise, and it stores the operator. Bear with me. So that same thing happens again when number gets zeroed out, and that's totally cool. Now when we do multiply, we run equals. It remembers the last operator we actually used, not the current multiply, but the fact that we hit plus. It runs everything again. But because we hit multiply, it's updated operator to the multiply up here. So now when we key in a follow-up number, when we throw in another digit like 3 or 4, and then we hit equals, it will remember that operator, whatever the current one is, which it will run multiply, and it will now take subtotal, what it was processed totaled here, which is now the new subtotal, and the current number, and it will run that. Thank God. Oh my God, we did it. Jesus. It's like trying to draw, it's like mentally envisioning a map, but there's no paper. This is the worst puzzle ever. It's just tragic. So really, I don't need any of this shit. Do I? I don't need number 0. I don't need... Because number 0 is also happening down here. It's a repeat thing. Which means, although we didn't add number 0 down here, I actually think we could add number 0 to the following. Oh, did I not finish dealing with the rest of these? Copy. Oh. 1, 2, 3. Oh crap, that's Umber. Son of a bitch. You soulless dime store hooker. God damn it. Forgetful sack of unloving grateful. Okay. Okay. Good. Good. We've got zeros. We've got our stuff that we no longer need here to occur. And we could still have if number doesn't equal 0 on the outside. Why can't we multiply by 0? That's not going to ruin anyone's day. It's only the division issue that we need to deal with, the 0 fiasco. So all of this noise goes straight to hell. Is that right? Yes. Yes. We're going to comment it out, though. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Here is that. Let's save. Save. Refresh. Don't mind me. I'll gander at the chat in a second. I'm just caught in my whirlpool of confusion. I'm slowly drowning in tragedy. 2 plus 3 should equal 5. But when we hit multiply, we have 5 multiplied by the anything. 2 equals I made a 10. Take that, planet Earth. Steven figured it out. Look at that. We went from... Normally it takes 2.5 hours to make progress. We whittled it down from over 2.5 hours of being confused making progress to 50 minutes. It's like 48 and change. Well, okay, 49 minutes. That, ladies and gentlemen, that is progress. That's the growth. It's not that we have breached into a level of skill and success where we can see positive progress. What's happening? We're still in the part of the learning curve where progress is measured by how much negative crap we're chipping away. We are still chiseling to the core. That's what we're working on right now. It's that difference. If you're looking for growth and how to measure my progress, which is minimal and dismal, it's the fact that we just shaved off an hour and 40 minutes of just complete and utter despair. Pretty good. That's like a 60 plus or more per... No. What is that? Like a 200% increase in time? Kinda cool, right? Right? Yeah. See? That's what's up. Okay, all kinds of comments. Wow. Let's see. PD, good timing. Napcat's just tragic. Welcome to programming. You have some decent insults. Oh, that's just me reflecting on myself. PD, haha, yep, the soulless dime store hooker had me. Oh, good. Percent. Wait, there's a right. The bar for solid entertainment is rising. No. That's just the perspective. That's the surface, and we're sinking below it. The bar isn't rising. We're plummeting. Abandoned ship. Well, that worked. So if that worked for multiplication, and that's the same song and dance we need for division, I think we will keep if number doesn't equal 0. Because we could very well key in 2 plus 3 times 0 equals 0, rightfully so. And if we did that, but instead of times 0, if we did divide by 0, it would tell us to check our shit, hopefully. Wait a second, what's happening? I didn't notice. McGreenberg, your question, you may have answered this, but what is your day job? In general, it kind of varies a lot as far as like the consistency of the work, which is also why the stream schedule is so all over the place. It's not quite freelance, but it's a lot of just IT fix-it stuff, mostly kind of word of mouth between coworkers and neighbors, setting up home networks, general IT consulting if they need help. Most recently, Jesus, like setting up some of the smart home devices, assistance with finding a new computer, just kind of minimal stuff. Yeah, nothing too crazy. We saved up for a while before diving into the Twitch lifestyle. I really wanted to pursue this. So prior to that, though, that's kind of the current floating getting by income. That and our little financial safety net we had to construct prior to doing this whole deal. But prior to that, all my past work experience had been in HR, so human resources. That was 5-6 years of human resources. So, yeah, that was interesting to say the least. Not a whole lot going on there. We did have a little. That's also where some of our code experience came from prior to this. Like a lot of job board. Most recently, it was working with the job board. So like when you fill things out online, applications, I could tinker with the different fields and settings. So I had a chance to mess with not so much the CSS, but more of the HTML and how the fields functioned. And that was tied to all the server-side stuff, so SQL. So I'd run just basic select statements. They didn't let HR run, like, updates or things like that. But, you know, if I needed to track down an employee record, or if for some reason they entered in, I don't know, we'll say it was a phone number, and it wasn't showing on the front end, sometimes it would show on the back end if there was some issue, and I could see that, yes, they did in fact key in some number of some sort. So just minor things like that. So some of the coding interests on where I eventually want to get to are kind of shaped by that. I could see how it was all tied together, the front end and the back end, and sort of having that not quite system admin for all the technical infrastructure, but more of that customer service side, in between, go between the front end and the back end, being able to see that. But yeah, that's a thing. That's another aspect. Quick side note regarding software. There's a lot of software that focuses on the front end, what the user ends up tinkering with. There's enough focus on the back end, I guess, on as you're digging through data, all the like huge spreadsheets and the databases of SQL and things like that. But there's very little software, I think, at least to my understanding. Although we were running a somewhat older system, but of that in between, there's not a lot of. Is there a lot of like customer service software where they can interact as the front end and access the back end? I've only got my handful of programs regarding customer service software in that regards from a programming standpoint. There needs to be a better middle ground. That's what I want to get to. I think developers need to factor in customer service side, like the in-between front end and back end, middle ground. Developers need to focus on that middle ground for customer support. I get the feeling that's a kind of a lacking area because that's not, they're probably concerned about just the users. The main users are the people who are using the product most, and then also the developers themselves or whoever has to access the info on the database. Catering to that middle ground just for customer support probably isn't lucrative for business, but being someone who is in that position for the majority of their, you know, small career, at this point, the 5-6 years, that's just something that I noticed. It was kind of lacking. The front end always looked great, but that in between, kind of brutal. Greenberg, database stuff is cool. Maybe we can set up a database project for you. We actually had a preemptive, an earlier project that someone else set up. So all of these current 10 projects that I'm chipping away at, Topher had set up. There's another project prior to all of these. Someone else set up, Tenacious Raptor. He did a project and it was there was a database aspect to it. I'm drawing a blank on all the parts that were tied to it, but yeah, it was kind of like setting up a micro user info form, and you could key in a couple fields, some info, and then it would show up in the database. So that was cool. That was fun. We definitely could do another one of those. Navcats. The middle ground is the front end. What do you mean? Well, you know what? I guess that's true. I guess it's... Maybe it's just a really specific kind of scenario from that HR standpoint, but I feel like a lot of customer service, even, you know what, well, it was, I actually still had it copied in there at the beginning of the stream. What is it? Sir... yeah. Although we were going through Guitar Center and whatnot, so like I was trying to deal with some warranty stuff regarding stuff I'd bought from Guitar Center, audio equipment, and there was some issue, they couldn't find like user info. So when I called their customer support, they could see from their end that I had bought stuff, checking my email or whatever, and they could see what was all tied there. And that's fine and that's cool. But I was letting them know when I signed in to look at my account is that stuff wasn't showing on my account, and that there's that difference. They're looking, even though it is front end user interface that developers are working on, there's like a disconnect still where the front end, the user interface that customers see, visitors, viewers, or not viewers, visitors and users interact with, versus the other side of the front end interface where the customer service is interacting with that. They see different things, and that's the middle ground that I was talking about, the customer service side of the user interface, because we also have access to, or had from the HR standpoint, access to like the SQL databases to do minor select queries and things like that. But anywho, that was kind of the middle ground, even though yes, it is front end, but that's what I was referring to. The customer support side of software, that side of the user interface, I feel like could use more attention. All right. So yeah, what was I doing? Napcats, middle ground, what did you mean? The middle ground stuff is what we build. No, true, that is accurate. Front end is a general user. Napcats, front end is general term for user interface. Napcats, the user, could be anyone. That is very true. McGrainberg, yeah, we normally don't serve back-end big data assets to customers. It's overwhelming. Napcats. Okay, so that's specific to the way Guitar Center had their database set up. And I think I noticed it because in HR, even though it's human resources and you're dealing with people applying, it's very similar to the customer service technical support for anything like that, because they're going, hey, I submitted my application, I entered this info and stuff's not loading, or I couldn't load my resume or cover letter, I need to update something. And it's that. So I'm just like, I'm really aware of it because of my work experience when I deal with other customer service scenarios, and I can see any discrepancies between what I saw on the front end user side as a customer to Guitar Center's website versus what the customer service rep lady was seeing on their back end. And I'm sure she wasn't going into whatever database. I'm pretty sure she wasn't cracking open SQL and doing a select statement to find my product that I had bought earlier. I mean, it's possible, but chances are they have some, point of sales type system that they were able to interact with. But yeah, back to that. Let's see. Okay, so specific database setup. McGrainberg. Guitar Center is going to be going out of business here soon. Interesting. So if you have anything you need to do with gift cards or exchanges, do it soon. Napcats, many old-fashioned shops are closing up. Actually, yeah, I went into for a separate issue related to the whole online support thing, but I did go into a brick and mortar Guitar Center shop recently, and yeah, they had some little like back office front. They had a little office front of their office, back of their store, something like that. It was more of the side of the store, anyways. But yeah, they had signed in, but when they backed out to some window, I could see like the old mainframe type software with all the F key commands to go into the next page or open the file. And my earlier human resources experience, yeah, I had to use, it was the black with the green font. You could only use the like F key commands through, you know, function 1 through 12 and all that noise. So it was relatable. It was definitely relatable. Terminal, kind of, I guess so. It was old and sad looking. Let's see what okay, so if you have anything, do it soon. Napcats, many old-fashioned shops are closing up. Napcats, yeah, I get what you're saying. The developers didn't develop a full experience for the customer. Edie, equal Greenberg. Shama, SCHMA. What is SCHMA? I feel like that's a Google-worthy subject. And so terminal, not quite terminal, close. If there's a notch above terminal, I think that's kind of what their software look like. But terminal's just like, terminal's scary. I don't like terminal. I've only had to go into terminal like 3 or 4 times this year, and it's just it's dark and spooky, and you don't know what's happening. When you type things in and you hit enter, there's all these lines that happen, and no, I'm not ready for that. What else did I need? I was just gonna celebrate with the fact that I ended up with this. Oh, right. We were doctoring things up. We didn't want how quickly we get distracted. So what happens if I do save, full refresh 2 times 2 equals. This is tragic. Bad, Steven. Refresh 2 plus 3 equals 5. Clear. 2 plus 3 times 4 equals 20. But if I do 2 times 2, aha, what the hell is that? Wait a minute. My spidey senses are tingling. Why is that not there? We need to have some form of a subtotal right there. Oh, McCraneberg. Napcats. Old school GUIs. Yes. McCraneberg. I missed an E. It's schema. Right. Internal is your friend. Napcats. AI is your friend. We'll get you. I want to be good at terminal. I'm just not ready to be good at terminal. It's a lot of responsibility. I just feel like everything I do in terminal is going to end up with the computer just releasing a cloud of smoke every time I hit the enter key. it's not confidence inspiring at all operating in terminal. Now, we were trying to do something. Now we're stuck with the same issue. Number is converted to 0. Subtotal isn't updated. We need to find a way where we run equals if subtotal, we have one for when it's 0 and one for when it's not 0. We have this is tragic. So look, I'm kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. See, right now, 2 times 2, that second 2 isn't doing anything for anybody. Equals 0. Really, it's just 2 times subtotal, which is still 0, and it equals that. Math makes sense. The computer's not confused. It's me, and it's my code that I've set up that's confused. What I need to have it do is have it where if subtotal equals 0, it will run something. Damn. Dee 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 dee. La da 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 dee 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 la dum dum da dum dum. What to do? What to do? Nabcats, be careful with your case statements. You're missing breaks in some places, so by default, it'll continue evaluating the next case logic. Why is there 2 case pluses? So also this bit right here, the case and case, I was surprised. I didn't think this was allowed, but, and it makes sense that it tracks onto the next one, but in setting it up this way, supposedly, I pulled this from MDN, and it was on their initial page for switch cases, just like whatever their basic, straightforward one was, probably within the first 4 or 5 examples, and it was showing that you could have 2 different symbols trigger the same set of logic or code that should be executed. And since I'm going to have 2 different symbols that it will be reading, you know what? I realize now, it actually won't be receiving 2 different symbols. I was thinking somehow that it would eventually receive an asterisk. But it's not ever going to receive an asterisk. It's only ever going to receive the X, the times key, for this guy, because when we do set up, one of our things on our to-do list is setting up the keyboard events. So instead of the clicks, we need to set up we'll set up the keyboard events, and it will be tied to this button. So really, we don't need both. But anyways, the MDN example showed that it was tied. You could just stack 2 things, let's say, yeah. But anywho, so I don't have it there, but in realizing that, when I do set up the keyboard events, it still won't be tied to that. It'll be tied to the button, and it checks for the button content, which is the face of the key, which is this guy. So this can die. This can die. And that also means our regex can be updated. We don't need the slash, and we don't need the asterisk. So it's just those 5. Cool. Napcats. Why is there 2 plus cases? Are we referring to... Oh, maybe that was divide, or maybe you're talking about the second equals switch case. It's because I got confused and couldn't figure out a better way to set it up. Yeah, I see it the way you want it now. For lines 83 to 84. Ah, yes, yeah. That was a shared nightmare. Okay, I thought you had the asterisk for keyboard input. I will be setting up event listeners for those keyboard inputs, but I don't think I'm going to be passing the value of the key. Oh, maybe I will. Jesus. I don't know, I haven't set up keyboard events recently except for the enter key on something. Actually, I don't even know if I set up an event listener for the enter key. I think it was the fact that I set it up as a form. By setting up something as a form, I believe it enables the default submit button that occurs or that you may end in there. I think it enables the enter key to function with like a default click event. I'm pretty sure form elements have a default enter event listener for the keyboard. I think. Pretty sure. Because that's what I used for, I can't remember what project. I think it was the Magic 8 Ball and possibly something else. Okay, you have plus twice in the regex. Oh, you know what? It's probably due to the screen size and the font. That is divide. Yeah, so we've got plus, minus, divide, times, and then equals. Oh, well, there is the plus. Okay, there is that plus, but isn't that to extend? I don't think it's actually necessary for all of this. I think it applies to the longer strings and checking for more. For the plus. But I know it's not exactly applicable to clear, and I don't believe it's applicable to the math operator field, but I left them anyways for consistency. Yeah. I don't know. Crazy person's choice, right? I think you can get rid of line 126. Okay, we're at line 25, and now we need to go to line 126. We'll get rid of line 27. Oh, that's right. In the equals, we need to update this down here as well. Good eyes, Napcats. Good eyes. Cool. Cool. You're right. It's the font. Well, McGrainberg. It's input. Ah, right. That's for the plus stuff. And another thing, in addition to the, what is it? Global, I think. Maybe it's not. I forget. Maybe I'm confusing things because I know usually for regex I do what is it? The ignore case in global for its search. Maybe the plus is different. Okay, maybe that's the the input that McGreenberg was referring to. That probably makes more sense. Since I was dealing with these finite characters and not having to deal with case, I didn't include the I. Oh dear God, don't mind Nightbot, don't mind not holy hell. Oh dear God. Oh dear God. It's Nightbot. Let me deal with Nightbot. Permit Napcats. There we go. There we go. Send. Ta-da, you've got 60 seconds of fun without Natcats raining on your parade. If anyone else needs to drop a link that Nightbot doesn't agree with for some reason, just let me know. Nightbot's being temperamental. GS Skinner Regex. Super helpful for Regex. Noted. Noted. In fact, we can gander. We will look as a team. Twitch stuff. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. Let's save our work in the meantime. Save, save, save. Things are loading slowly, but loading nonetheless. Okay, so here's the Earth. Very nice Earth. And G Skinner. I see there's more comments. McGreenberg. Napcat, super helpful. McGreenberg, there's a talk by some lady on YouTube who explains JavaScript regex beautifully. Because other regex libraries behave differently. Perl has the best regex system. Yeah, regex is... It's an awesome tool or ability, way of leveraging and looking for stuff or applying filters. Extremely handy. When I was dealing with Code Academy earlier in the, well, like in the middle part of the year, tons of the solutions, like 9 times out of 10, maybe 11 times out of 10, it would, the solutions, because after you know, they hide the solutions and any like helpful hints that contain portions of the solutions, anything like that, until you solve it for yourself. You can like forfeit the challenge and just to see the solution, but then you don't get credit for doing that, completing that challenge. So I'd always look elsewhere. All the challenges are listed on things like Stack Overflow with the same exact wording and values even. So you can find the help, which I had to do that. But anyways, so a lot of the times when you complete the challenge, then it shows you a lot of the common solutions that people had, and then you can see where yours kind of ranked, if you will. But usually the top 3 for like 98% of all the challenges I did at Code Wars, and I focused solely on JavaScript at Code Wars, utilized regex. It would be, you can see my complete lack of clear, straightforward thinking logic. So I would always end up with things like this, the double switch case nightmare to render my very basic value for just a couple variables. Like this is very close to what I was doing at like just, yeah, the nonsense that I would bring upon myself at Code Wars. But then I'd complete a challenge and you'd see these elegant solutions with just a couple lines of code with one or two regex things filtering out the noise, and a lot of them were the single. I'd have some 80-line monstrosity, and they'd have their little one-line code with all the lambda nonsense and whatnot. Yeah, I couldn't hang with the cool kids, so this is where I'm at. So I can deal. Point being is that I can deal with basic regex things. Look for this. Look for that. This is about as extensive as my regex abilities go. Um, let's see. Pearl is the best regex system. Napcat's Pearl has the original regex system. That's cool. Toasty, good morning. Hey, Toasty, how you doing? We actually made a little bit of progress earlier in the stream. Now we're back kind of in the depths of confusion, but we at least made progress where if I had to stop the stream at a moment's notice, I would be satisfied. But so far we're on the we're leaning towards the up and up. McGreenberg, used to hate it, then I learned it, and now I love it. Napcats, I only know the basics of it, and usually need to look up guides as needed or just hope someone's written the regex already. For common use cases, you're usually in luck, like email validation regex, password regex, etc. Yeah, fortunately, a lot of the nightmarish challenges at Code Wars, there was a decent amount of work already done. I'd usually end up piecing together portions of different solutions. Rarely would I just take a whole solution and just drop it in. Mainly because I didn't understand an entire solution. I'd only take bits that I understood and I'd take the pieces I'd know and make a sad looking Frankenstein. Now, we were trying to do something. Right, we were dealing with the fact that we still need to somehow update subtotal with our code. Our multiplication works on the fly after the ball is already rolling. 2 plus 3 equals 5. And when we do multiply, it totals it for us. Multiply by whatever we want. 2 equals... Crap, we must have changed our code. Why does it not equal anything? We shouldn't have moved that rock. We should have left it as is. What to do? What to do? Equals our operator. Ooh. Well, when in Rome, what should I do? When I click equals, this should run. Why doesn't it like that? This is not going to go well. We're gonna have to debug a crap ton of shit, aren't we? Dum 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 dum. Where did this all go south? We could hit times. No, no. Plus. Death. Death is upon us. Don't mind me. Fascinating. Good. Good that we have the link. We will be sure to save that. I'm just trying to stop the bleeding. Napcats. See everyone? Good to have you, Napcats. Farewell. Always good to have you. Now, what did we need to modify? We're right there. We were right there on the edge. We had it functioning. Refresh. 1 plus 2 equals 3. Well, that works fine. So what did we change that's different? 1 plus 2 equals 3. Operator. True, we removed this. But we had the code in there and it was commented out. When we hit equals, it's actually running this code. So what's the difference here? Player 1 plus 2 times 3 equals nothing. Damn. What to do. Farewell, Toasty. Farewell. Alright. What did I do? Oh, just kidding. Not to me. Yes, you're right. Just kidding. Context. It's after 1:30. Our judgment skills are impaired. And clearly, so is our... Aha! Aha. I think we may have zeroed in on at least one issue. Number was underneath break. That's one issue. Break. Good. We can at least set that back to normal. We can then take the following. Why didn't equals call anything? Subtotal. Does subtotal not exist? Like, I don't get why it's not returning any number at all. Before... we had this with, oh, before we had that, we had this, and it was multiply, and everything was mostly okay. Save, refresh, 2 plus 3 times, and that gave us 6. See, that's working. It's operational. And that was 2 plus 3. It's still wrong for how it needs to perform, but I'm just checking in the fact that this was the code we had before, and this is how it was functioning before. Because it should be 2 plus 3 equals 5, and then when we hit times, nothing should occur. We need to be able to choose the next number. We had fixed the quirk with equals operator. And this is the same as below. This was causing problems. Oh dear God. That was causing problems. Did we only have this one thing commented out, or did we have all of this commented out? I think we got rid of the number 0. We did get rid of the number 0 because it was redundant for down here. And we also... maybe that was it. Yeah, let's pretend that was it. Command save. Refresh. 2 plus 3 times should equal 5. 2 should equal 10. Where is the 10? Son of a bitch. Toasty, is number in the global scope? And subtotal as well? Shit, did I tinker with things? Yeah. Number. Operator. Subtotal. What did I do? I must have clicked... I know I got rid of the math operation. I updated it. Or equals... what else would there be? Oh my god. I figured it out. Rookie move, Steven. Rookie move. It's because I updated the regex. I changed the symbol. I got rid of the asterisk. Because it's just supposed to be the X, apparently. But because I got rid of that, it didn't know what to do anymore. It had 0 point of reference. Ah. Typical. Typical. Also, I'm pretty sure these were supposed to be commented out as well. Save. Refresh. Back in action. 2 plus 3 times equals 5 times 2 equals 10. Ta-da! Be-diddy-dee-dee-dee. Unbelievable. Okay, so we lived. We can clear... no, we're going to leave that because we're going to reflect on it. There's something that we need to change because when we go on the fly, it's great. 2 plus 3 times 2 equals 10. All good and dandy. But when we refresh and go 2 times 2, out of the gates, cold, 1. This is gonna... that's just real special. Equals 2 times 0. We need to address that issue. Okay, so. Toasty. Is a number in the global scope? Yes, it is. Hey, cat, check your shit. Good little kitty. Alright, I've got your tail. Toasty. Is number in the global scope? Yes. And subtotal as well? Yes. Sucks Jackie, hey, how you doing? Dum. Yeah, I've got your tail, little kitty. How about copy these 3 lines into its own function? It's being repeated a lot of times. Oh, shit, you're right. I could... cat... you... God... son of a... you're in the way. Will you please go be a cat somewhere else? I don't know how to help you. Will you stop right-clicking with your... Are you assuming the napping position? You are hunting for fingers to scratch you. I know that face. The finger hunt face? Yeah. Jam, 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 jam. Oh, you're so furry and confused. You know what the sad thing is that we'd probably make more progress with you running across the keyboard. You did not just lay down for a nap. Absolutely not. This is a no, no, no. You're saving things. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hold on. Kitty Crisis. She's got so many different things open on the computer right now. No, 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 no. You stand. You stand. Oh my god, you're opening things. Okay, we're good. We're good. Holy hell. She opened like 35 windows. She just decided that laying down on the keyboard was the right way to handle things. Okay, let's just close out of all of this noise. Dear God. Okay, okay. What you looking for? Oh my god, you're back again. Little kitty? Ah, you're awful. Okay, Jesus. He's so determined. Yet again, I can't stress it enough. The one tip I've learned out of my year of coding is don't get a fucking cat if you're trying to learn how to program. After you've learned your skill set, get a cat. Get as many cats as you want. During the learning process, I've spent more time dealing with little kitty than I have any other issue. Oh god. She's gonna give me a brain aneurysm. This is just awful. Who gets a cat to learn how to program, right? No. Oh god. Okay, where did we leave off? Sorry, it's just... Did she got my code? Stupid feline. Thank god she's cute, but holy hell. What is this? Equals opera... I don't even know where I am. Alright. Suex, sucks, and Jackie something is right. We should take those 3 lines of code, and we should just have it as a function. We absolutely should. That would save a lot of space and time. I mean, we've got it down here. There's no reason why we can't have that. What to do from here? Toasty, he could just put it under the switch. And that too. Oh, is that what I could do? I could have it do its stuff, and then I could have it do all that noise down here. Things could happen. Aha. Well, that's equally fascinating. Yeah, see, this is the kind of shit you miss when you're juggling a fucking cat all night long. Alright. So that's cool. That's a pro tip. Noted. We will consider that and keep that in mind. What to do from here? What to do from here? Oh my god, my headache. Oh, that fucking feline. Stupid quadruped. He could just put it under the switch, that too. maybe he should refactor once it works. I'm thinking that, most likely. Toasty line 84 equals operator. Operator is not set yet? Aha! Operator is set yet. Yeah, it is set. Because what's happening is it's stored from the previous equation. See, so when I do 3 plus 2, operator gets set to plus. But then when I do, so 3 plus 2, and then when I click the multiply, what happens is it runs through the switch case, and it triggers this, but it runs equals, which is down here, and it runs all the same math that should occur. And because it's got the plus still stored in it from up top, it runs the plus equation, but then after I hit multiply, it updates it. So equals runs the last equation, and then it updates operator. So then when I hit equals down here, pretty cool. Tricky, right? Yeah. Alright, okay, so there's that. Your operations are so different. I don't know what you did there. Do Sucks and Jackie Cat. I'm sorry. We still need the phonetic breakdown. Captain S. That's just what it's gonna be. Not amused. Hey, Sokolo. Yeah, kitty love and death. Toasty, do you really want your cat to check her shit? Cat leaks credit card info, right? Sokolo, cat porn. Joel, 4588. How are you doing? How are you doing? We're trying to survive cat hell as we piece together our calculator of doom. Little kitty, it's your reflection. It's just you. It's the closet door. It hasn't moved. Oh my god, you're really... No, just... I don't even care. Thug life. Click all over the keyboard. Yep, that's you, cat. Go yourself. I love you. Just not right now. So that's Little Kitty's contribution. Oop, 21, Sid. I don't think that's gonna work, but good enough. She also turned on caps lock. Oh, dear God. Operator. Frickin' animal. Thank God she's cute. Ah, okay. What are we doing? I tried to work with a bungee in the room. It was impossible. Cat wasn't here yesterday. It was still there. Sniff. Toasty. And why don't you do it in plus and minus? Ah, because it's not quite needed in plus and minus. Look at this. Multiplying and dividing is a two-step process. See, look, when you do 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals whatever, right? 6. But if you do, or even, but if you do 1 times, oh dear God, it was delayed. 1 times 2 equals, it's holding, it hasn't established a subtotal. Subtotal is 0. So when I key in 1 and do, what's it called? Well, it was more of an, we had the rest of our code. It was tragic. It was auto running numbers. It was auto running the last thing it had. Here, to better highlight, 1 plus 2 plus 3. And then I do times. And it would, there, see here. 2 and 3 is 6, but it shouldn't be 6. It's doing 3 times 2. It's remembering the last thing and running it immediately. We don't want that. We want it to do... We want it to just total it, everything that we've come up to, and then, or everything up until we hit the multiply, and then we want to choose what we're multiplying the total of all of those equations by, the sum of everything. Multiply it by whatever number we choose. That's the part of the issue we're dealing with now, which is why multiply and divide have the equals operator leading the way. Well, at least it will eventually down here for divide, but that's what's going on, and that's why these don't have it, because they don't need it. There isn't that two-step process that multiply and divide require. Wait a second. Toasty, hold on. You're right, we did fix it because of this. Because it auto... I changed it because I did equals. Before it was there, damn it. I don't want to break my code and go back, but it was having... I would do 2 plus 3 before, and when I do times, there. Before. This highlights the exact issue that I had before. I thought the 1 plus 2 plus 3 times was good enough, but I set my code up to where it's supposed to total out that way. So before, when I would do 2 plus 3 and then hit times, it would give me 6, which is what we don't want. It would do 2 plus 3 times, and it would load up 6. And that's not the case. It should equal 5, and then it should wait for us to key in a new number, like 2 equals 10. But it was jumping to 6, even though it was 2 plus 3 times whatever. It was jumping the gun based off the code that I had, because it was the same as all of this. It was opening out of the gates. It was running that subtotal plus, well, subtotal times equals number as soon as it hit this case. But yes, now it's correct. So now our current issue with this, though, is it works on the fly once we're up and running. 2 plus 3 times 2 equals 10. But from a cold start, 2 times 2 equals 0. And sadness. Okay. Okay. So, if Toasty, well, why don't you do it in plus and minus? Just pronounce it Suheen. Oh. Cool. Suheen it is. Or So-heen? No, Sue, because it's you. Sue. For sure. Okay, Suheen. Awesome. Awesome. We might do Sue for short, but Suheen, good times. Joel, I might. Awesome. Good. Glad to hear that. Sorry, it's not that bad, right? No, not at all. It's me. I'm the problem in this equation. After 346 days, we've only gotten worse with usernames. Okay, Toasty, that's not right. If you press 1 plus 2 plus, it should already say 3, which is what we wanted. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus equals and shows 6, which is right. Yeah, there's that. Which is why we tinkered and had to update things, because it was running wild. So now everything floats. Now everything floats. Continuing on, we take this, and we want it to occur here. Toasty, type 1 plus 2 plus, what does it say? Refresh. 1 plus 2 plus, ta-da, 3. D D D D D D D. 1 plus 2 plus spits out 3. We can do it again. 1 plus 2 plus. It took us a while to get to that point. Again, it's been like a 5-6 day journey to reach this point. And then, oddly enough, we figured out this equals thing much earlier on. I'm surprised we've still gone close to 2 hours streaming. We did have a handful of reflective rants there in the middle, but we are still forging ahead. So we've got equals. We need to deal with that first issue. See, we've got 1 plus 2 plus 3 times 4 equals 24. Pretty cool. But if we do 2 times 3, 1, it's putting this up, which is strange. We need to adjust that, and I'm not sure why. Doing that. 2 times 3. I guess we just don't need that to show. We do want this to show? Is that right? Oh, hey, Sue, don't worry about the... Wow, Nightbot is vicious. Not only does Nightbot stop the link, but it deletes all your past comments. Why is Nightbot so aggressive? Holy hell. Here, wait, don't mind me, Sue. I'm gonna drop in the... Nightbot's crazy. We need to throw Nightbot off a cliff. I mean, I know Nightbot does great work for the Twitch community, and I agree. Let's do permit to X in E. There we go. Boom. You got 60 seconds of fun to post any links you might want. Yeah, Nightbot's pretty intense. Tiny Cat, what are you do? Oh my god. Okay. There's like a plastic bag on the bed, and she's doing the cat thing where they just press into that they need the spot, massage it. So she's just massaging this plastic bag on the bed, and all I hear is crinkling. Need to throw a shoe at her or something. CUXNG. Awesome. Good. Dum. D. Got banned? Bullshit. Well, I unbanned him. Are you sure you want to? Yeah. I want to unban. Oh, you were timed out. Okay. Right, Joel, exactly. We need to have, like, Mutiny on the Bounty, but instead of Captain Bligh, it's Nightbot. I'll have to deal with Nightbot tomorrow. I've been telling myself I'll deal with Nightbot, but I just haven't found the time to tackle him. Or it. Or her. Who knows? Oh, permit? Yeah, you got it. You got it. Permit. Don't mind me. I'm so used to just dealing with it on my phone. Paste. Boom. Permitted. Ta-da. Linky frickin' goodness. Let's see what we're up against. Some inspiration, you say? Interesting. Left, right, operation, on reset, left and right. Operator is ready and waiting. Okay, so kind of similar to what we have for subtotal, because I did envision subtotal on the left. I know it doesn't really matter, but that's why subtotal I keep throwing onto the left side. But continuing on, function equals click operation case left minus that break. Aha. Right equals 0. Number if else. Yeah, I need to set up the if else for our division section. On click incoming operation equal. Okay. Noted. Noted. Fair enough. Well, we can save that in the meantime. It is most certainly an elegant solution. Close out of that. We'll add that to our to-do list. Things that we can reference in the future. When we find ourselves unable to stop crying, we can use that to comfort us. Thank you. That is a good way of doing it. It really is. I just feel like I've spent so much time setting up this noise. I do like the idea of moving the document subtotal and number down below. Right, Toasty, you said, you asked a question. What does equals do when the operator is unset the first time you press multiply? That's a great question. His birth's a 0. Which kind of makes sense because it's 0 times 0. Okay. What does equals do when the operator is unset for the first time you press X? Alright, let's find out. Equals nothing. Silent. Radio silent. Toasty. Get your code straight. There is no difference in blank and blank. There should be no difference. I guess you're right. I don't know why. As we were going through it, just... because we had all this set up the same way before. That's why I just copy and pasted everything and just swapped out the numbers for it. Save. Refresh. So what are we at? 2. times 3 huh. Duheen, you've got division by 0 check, but you should think about it later. Aside from that, I agree. Yeah. You're right. So I could run the equals operation, technically, in each of the following. So what happens when I've got this then? Who's on first? We are trying to do... Save. So here's our equals function. So all of these you were saying could and should be set at the bottom of the equation. Let's cut this. And set it right down here. That means for those, we don't need any of that. Just that, which definitely simplifies it. And up here, I believe you guys are right in the sense subtotal and 0, subtotal and 0. And I can update the operator. Yeah. Good. So this will be that. And then Posty, show your equals function. Why do you do the operation inside equals? Inside the switch. McGrainberg back. WB network outage. We could do, you're right. We could move equals outside of this and have that as the first thing. Then our switch. All three of those can happen there. We can update our operator. We can get rid of this. Wow, it's really starting to streamline and smooth out. Okay. So those three aren't needed. And this isn't needed. Huh. True, I do have the if number doesn't equal 0. Yeah. Toasty, you do the operation twice. Way more consistent now. Good. Good. Okay. Cool. Let's do save, refresh. So if I do 1 plus 2, I threw something off. Is it the operator? Maybe it's because I have equals up top. Hold on, we'll get rid of that for now. Save. Refresh. 1 plus, and the total's 1, 2 plus, the total updates to 3 equals 3. Okay, clear. If I do 1 plus 2 plus 3 times, no, plus 4, crap, hold on, don't mind me, rookie move. I'm gonna do 12 plus 4 times, see that? It this is what I was talking about before. So 3 plus, crap, refresh, 2 plus 3 equals 5. And it should. But when I do 2 plus 3 times, it says 6. This was the issue I was talking about before. This is why I had equals operator inside here, and that commented out because when I save it, refresh, 2 plus 3 times, it totals 3 and 2, 3 plus 2 to 5, what it should be, and it's waiting for me to input a number, times, because it doesn't know what it's going to be yet, times 2 to 10. And multiplying does total it. You know, 2 plus 3, I hit times, well, what's its sum? What's its total? It's 5. But with the multiplying, it doesn't know what to multiply it by until we give it a number. So we choose that number, and then from there we give it our next operator, which is that. Okay. So at least it's way more streamlined and efficient now compared to the noise that I had it. It's still wonky in how it's set up. But at least it's slightly less hilarious to look at. Toasty, that's why you have to check the exact sequence on how you do things. Noted. Noted. You know what? My other concern, though, aside from this, is refresh. Let's actually comment this out. Command slash. Comment that out. Uncomment this. Save. What happens if I just multiply? So the math works fine when it's up and running. But what about from the get-go? 2 times 2. Yeah, it's already got 2 times 0 for that. Command comment out, uncomment this, save, save, save. So it is the same functionality for 2 times 2 equals that. So I need to set up an if statement for if subtotal equals 0. My concern, though, was in case we ever had 1 minus, see, like that, 1 minus 1, it just runs it. What about 1 plus 2? Why does 1 plus 2 work flawlessly, but 1 minus 2? What is that? Why is it doing that? Let's see. Okay, so Toasty. And by the way, it doesn't make sense to pass operator to the function, but still use subtotal and number from a global scope. That's just confusing in reading and how you use operator. It's simply the same as the operator in global. Yes? I'm not sure. I mean, that... I realize it is a confusing setup, but that is why I have it set up that way. Because it is a global thing. Like, the way it's set up is intentional. I know it's confusing because it's poorly executed. But this was so it had operator, so when I have a number 1 plus, hit the plus button, it triggers the math stuff and it looks for the case and executes the following equation plus, and then it updates operator with that plus symbol. It updates the global variable up there. It yeah. So it's holding on to that. I throw in the next number plus 2 and then equals. So since it updated and it's holding that plus sign up there in operator, when I call equals, it's checking for that. Now the difference in, and since it's checking for it, it's running it through the switch case and performing that equation. Maybe we're zeroing in on something. Hold on. I have it doing that because that issue I was running into earlier with 2 plus 3, and then when you'd go to multiply, it would jump straight to 6. So I needed to tell it to go ahead and run the equals equation again, but reference the last operation that occurred, which was this. Not, it was addition was the last one, not multiply. Which is why I have it run equals first, and then I update it. Because then once I have that, and then since I did times, and it's ready to receive a new number, I hit 2. Since it did that, it was able to sum with the plus to get 5. but then because it updates operator again, it knows to multiply the total and multiply it by 2. And since it updates operator, it then runs the multiplication. So it was crazy, I guess. Do I not need to reference it? Is that what it is? Like, I can just run equals? Oh, this one. Do I just run equals? Is that better to do? Probably. You know what? That's probably what you were saying, is that I probably don't need to reference operator. I just thought I needed to pass it that variable. I thought I needed to send it something to receive. But I guess it already knows it's receiving that. I thought I was sending it nothing if I do this. Let me check comments. Sorry, I've been ranting. I was trying to connect the dots on why I was doing things. Okay, so I'm talking about the equals. Oh, you're talking about the equals function down here. If the parameter operator is always the same as in global operator, why do you have the parameter at all? Oh, you know, I didn't... Well... Okay, well, wait, question. How do I reference this operator variable, the global operator, and have it get processed in the switch case? Do I only need operator in the switch? I always figured I know there's the difference between parameters versus a specific variable, like so, an explicit variable versus just a parameter as a placeholder. But I thought switch cases used whatever that, I thought they used whatever the parameter was for the function. I guess that's not really needed. I guess I could have had variable cat, you know, equals meow or something. Equals meow, and I guess I could have just had cat, and then it would have checked for that. I don't know what I think. I think because the last 346 days, all of the switch cases I have had, it's always the same variable or parameter, cat, that gets passed into the switch case. I can't think of any other scenarios where it was different like this. You know, if it was mouse, but I was hunting for cat. That's like the most basic. I don't think all the other ones I had dealt with were like a 1-to-1 exchange. But yeah, I could see how that could be confusing. Again, it's just a wonky setup to begin with, but yes, that is a thing. Let me get rid of that. Okay, so food for thought. Let's see. Okay, if the parameter operator is always the same as in global operator, why do you have the parameter at all? That's good. Good question now in hindsight. Can't justify the weird setup. You have to change your architecture. You won't need a weird setup anymore. Definitely. trying to get to that point, although it's been a brutal uphill battle. Just can't seem to wrap my head around the next step. Let's see, what else? Suheen, I kind of feel like that you should have approached the calculator problem on paper without any code at first. That's true. I probably should have. Just don't pass anything. That's you're probably right. Joel, it automatically will reference it. Just remove operator from equals. Cool. So I can do that. Let's get rid of this. Get rid of that. Get rid of operator. Nice. Good to know. Toasty, either don't pass anything and only use globals, which is pretty bad, or pass everything used by parameter, which is good. Oh, crap. Okay. So at that point, I should move the operator above it and then send it. So basically, I should switch them. Kind of like this. Operator. Wait. No, not like that. I pass it X. Yeah, that's what you're saying. I pass it X. Oh, and crap, not just any X. It needs to be this. So I don't need... I could do that. I could keep this. Do I want that, though? Right now I'm leveraging having the difference in 2. Yet. Because right now I am using my weird setup to get the result, but to change that to a more efficient way where I don't have operator. It's either run equals by itself. Well, nothing's really changing. I wasn't passing anything at all. Operator. It's no different having equals first and it references the last equation's operator. And then adding this into the mix. But do I really need that at all? Death. Okay. Alright, Toasty, either don't pass anything, or only use globals, which is pretty bad, or pass everything used by parameters, which is good. Hipples, switch will look up and find whatever is closest in scope. So if you have a parameter operator, it will find that first. Noted. Thank you, Kipples. Toasty, using only local variables inside a function makes the function a real function. You know math functions, fx equals 2 times x. Yes. The function only depends on what it is given to its parameter. So the output will always be the same if the parameters are the same. Using global variables will make the function depend on something outside of the function, which it makes it pretty unstable on its own. Divide and conquer. Okay. Nightstorm 2516. You need to set equals function to equals operator and pass your variables in your switch statement as equals x. Okay, I like that plan. I do like that plan. Let's take this, drop that in there, get rid of that and that. And wait a second, should I be doing that for all of them? I guess I could. I guess I could. Toasty, untestable and not unstable. Oh, it might leak into unstable. Right. I'm trying to hold it together. It's late. It's late. Oh my god, it's already after 2:30. I can't believe how many 2.5 hour plus long streams we've had lately, especially with this project. Dear God. Okay, so first of all, I was trying to do that earlier, and we were updating this. Since we're already running this down here, and we're now taking... I just feel like now I'm thinking my 2 switch cases are totally unnecessary, which I know it was mentioned that 2 switch cases were unnecessary from the get-go, but dear God, it's now sinking in at how crazy this is. So at this point, we could just have equals, and we could just have equals, or technically math operation, and whatever the parameter is. Not even whatever the parameter, just operator. Ah, little kitty. There is fur. This is awful. It's been like an hour since she's been in our lap. Is she? Yeah, that white speck, that is her. That is little kitty. She's sleeping. And apparently she is in 2 places at once. She is on the bed and in my mouth. Ugh, God. Damn cat. Okay, okay. So... means all of this is for naught. I feel like I'm choking on it. Nightstorm, wait, Toasty equals left, right, operand, return results. Holy is it really that easy? I can give it 3 parameters? Oh my god, I can give it 3 parameters. I totally could have subtotal, number, or left and right, and operator. Oh my god. And then I just have it equal the result? This is my calculator? The whole damn thing? Oh my god. Okay, why is there so much? It's like the fur is multiplying. Oh my god. This is just tragic. Okay, okay. Nightstorm. 2516, yes. Remove the redundant code, Nightstorm. Do you enjoy your white demon cat? I have an Oreo one. It gets into everything. Yeah, I'm thankful little kitty is cute. That is her name. Very generic, yet descriptive and fitting. She is a little cat. So Little Kitty is her name. There was an older cat named Kitty previously, no longer with us. He's passed away, but so his name was Kitty, and then when we got the new smaller version, that's why she got the name Little Kitty. So just a bit of backstory on her terrible naming scheme. Can't wait to name our kids Tiny Human 1, Tiny Human 2. Should work out great. Joel, I have a dog. Dogs are fun. Dogs are fun. Joel, but yeah, I would definitely try to avoid the global scope if possible. Okay, so we take this, so we change our code to pass things along. Interesting. Okay, so subtotal is not 0, and number is not 0, nor is operator. We have all of our functions needed to survive up until this point. Slightly. We still have decimals that we need to worry about and clear. But in the meantime, we have numbers, which passes stuff to build a number, so that's what's constructing it. But once we have that, all I would do Can I pass them one at a time? Is that a thing? Can I do that? Not just equals. A number. I don't think I can send it just one. I know I can specify it. And it will have... My concern is that we've got two things that are forever evolving. Number and subtotal, or the left and right operand. Not sure how to cross that bridge. I'd like to have subtotal first. Oh, what to do? What to do? Maybe this would be subtotal, so that would be number. I can't remember if I can send just one thing at a time or not. Don't mind me. Sneezy death. It's that damn cat. Okay. We are forging ahead. What to do? Alright. Dum. Suheen. Or you could give the whole calculator state wrapped into an object. Global scope doesn't seem too bad in this case, since it's not too huge. Well, we do have our fun, despite them being global, we do have our, what is it? IIFE, right? Isn't that what it is? The whole massive thing containing all of our noise. So we are dealing with that. That's why I was relatively somewhat comfortable doing variable, operator, and number outside of a specific function, and technically inside the larger one. So that's one aspect to our crazy setup. Night Storm 2516. Always good for Kitty to live in Little Kitty, yes. Toasty, Suheen, I think it's too easy to confuse the current operator with the last right now. That's why you should get it clear. You're right. You're right. Some kind of Suhin, some kind of controller will still operate some kind of global state. Toasty, the function equals doesn't have any real use to it right now. You could just do all of it in the other function. I agree. Nightstorm, you're putting in parameter names in equals on line 98, which is good, but you can't put in parameter names on line 59. You have to pass in some data. Okay, let's reference those specific lines. You're putting in parameter names in equals on line 98. Line 98. Here, parameter names, which are our friend. That's good. But you can't put in parameter names on line 59. Line 59, line 59. Aha, here. That won't work. I have to give it a number. But so if I were to get rid of number variable there and gave it this variable number here, if I were to put that in, wouldn't it send it to equals? Or is that weird? Weird is. Here's the state, and I don't know which one to keep. Either keep math operator or equals. I feel like I should change equals to math operation, which I think I will do in the end. It seems like we're moving to a point where we can get rid of one, if not both of these. So depending on the operator, that's what determines the case. We have subtotal and number. Subtotal and number. Number will be updated by that, so I guess we could do maybe number equals 0. Well, number equals 0 down here. Subtotal variable variable subtotal equals 0. But won't it reset it every single time? Maybe it starts as 0. Maybe it starts as 0 in one of our other functions. Maybe it's up here. Maybe out of the gates, subtotal starts as 0, but from there, it is forever being updated. You really don't need subtotal to ever equal 0 again, technically. And we're dealing with the operator. hold on. Um, you're putting in parameter names in equals on line 98, which was good, but you can't put parameter names on line 59. You have to pass in some data. Nightstorm, line 98 is where you are defining your function, which is why you can pass in as many parameter names as you want. But on line 59, you are calling the function you created. So it expects data. Shit, you're right. So it expects all three and information specifically, which would be sub total as well as, but again, it's not, I'm not an operator. I'm not able to do this, but I need all three, so that's a variable. How do I tell it that I want to be I want it to be a 2 or a 6 or whatever number this is to just be in there? Without using a variable. Let's keep reading. But on line 59, you're calling your function you created, so it expects actual data. Right. Posty. And now you're seeing you have a problem in your lower architecture. You can use the same function in a different use case. You can use the same function in a different use case. Nightstorm, looking at your code, your equals function should be getting the operator. You should create a new function for getting subtotal and call it later somewhere in your code. So this is my number function. We'll call it number function. This will be my operator function. Number. And I need to add in a function subtotal. Subtotal function, which it can receive sub. Okay, and we'll call this I think I'm gonna end up keeping the equal. No, maybe this will be subtotal. We're already doing the math for subtotal, and we're passing it the information. Maybe this can be subtotal. And then that will be operator. This is tragic. This is tragic. Hold on. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Build a number. Math operation. Math operation. Build a number. You said to throw in stuff. Equals 2 1 plus 2 1 plus. Toasty, maybe you should separate displaying from underlying data first. Make a function show number and use it to set only the output to show output. That's also a good idea to display stuff. Okay. On line 73, you're setting the operator for each case scenario. On line 73, you are setting the operator for each case scenario. But on line 100, that is your equals function, which you created to set your operator. So why didn't you just push equals blank on line 73 instead of resetting it? On line 73, yeah, I need to get to that point. So, I never finished tinkering with the code. I wasn't sure if this was the way to go or not. I mean, it seems like it could have been, but at this point, if all I was doing was pushing the symbol to equals, I figured I could have just brought over exactly that for all of this. each one of those things. So these, as I was writing these out, these kind of seemed obsolete. In the scheme of things. But I'm now not sure that's entirely right. It's just it felt redundant when now apparently I can... Not now, apparently, but this whole time I could have been passing things to this function. And then using the operator to determine what to do. So where does this stand? So I've got... Will I have a decimal function? Oh, eventually I'll have a decimal function. Okay, so let's cut this. Let's set it near clear. We're going to deal with decimals and clearing in the future. In the meantime, we have this, that, all right. Toasty, Looking at your code, I'm asking myself build number, decimals, math operation. Why does that take button content? What is button content? I don't even know what they do without reading the code, and the code gets even more confusing right out of the box. The function should be so simple, you could delete the body and rewrite it just by reading the function name, and eventually the documentation block. Yeah, I think the issue was more the fact on where and how to start, since it was just a blank slate and I didn't really know what to do. Kind of why I've got the calculator set up and structure, needed an interface. I know that I should have just been able to code essentially all of the JavaScript by itself. Even if there is HTML to reference, I could have and should have been able to just know to sort of plan ahead or on the fly that document dot get element by ID, set it to whatever I wanted to update, and execute. For me, I needed kind of the visualization to be able to link these things together. I needed to set up the basic HTML first and some form of a visualized calculator, even in a basic form. That way I could sort of think through the JavaScript. And then since I had the structure and some of these other pieces at the time, it just kind of naturally progressed from what I had currently set up, sort of that initial little bit of firewood. It's just the small twigs you gather to start a flame, and then you pile on the larger logs, or set the tinder inside of the fire. I kind of just kept building from that small structure, and it turned into this Frankenstein over time. Definitely didn't have it planned out ahead of time. And I think that's where a lot of this noise naturally progressed from. But in hindsight, yes, it should have probably been something much more straightforward and succinct like this. Didn't really know how to get there from a blank slate. But now I'm thinking I still have that slight realization that maybe just scrapping all of this and starting from scratch might be the way to go. Alright. Let's see. What can I change? So for all of these, I mean, so button, even just to address one of the points for all of the things, yes, it's definitely not very clear, but for our event listener, we've got one event listener that sorts through all of the buttons. And it's on the face of the buttons, because we have different types of buttons. We've got numbers, the decimal, the math operators, and the clear button. So they all do different things. That's why we've got the regex, but I was able to sort of plan slightly ahead for that. But all of them are buttons. So I just use one event listener for any and all buttons, and here it sorts through looking at the content. on each face of each button. And sadly, they're all strings, so I had to convert them all. We've got, what is it, our regex to filter through, and if it's a button, then I would pass it on, and then from there I needed to build the string, so 1, 2, 3, 4, because these are all, the button content is individual strings. It's a string of 1, a string of the 2 character, a string of the 3 character. So I had to patch them all together. We ended up swapping some of that out by setting up the build number. That's what it was before. It was tragic and awful and quite soul crushing. And then it just kind of continued to spiral from there. Same song and dance for math operation. It was, well, you saw what the beast was before. It would come through here and it would sort through the case, and I'd have all the noise on that it needs to update for each one. And then I'd console log it to kind of check its pulse here in the console log to see what was happening. But yeah, it was just, it naturally progressed out of all the confusion to this point. Dum 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 deep deep day. Toasty. Hey, Graysol, just woke up. Awesome. Good to have you, Graysol. Yeah, we're still clinging to this. Oh dear God, and it's after 3. We need to land this bird sooner than later. Starting to run on fumes. We've been running on fumes. Toasty. Programming is just as easy as you make it. If you introduce cryptic names and code styles, you can't expect your brain to just get along with that. Not trying to be harsh. Of course, of course. Nightstorm, give him a break. He is a demon cat. The little kitty is definitely not exactly the most helpful asset in our journey. But yeah, no, our logic is highly questionable. There's a lot of mix and matching going on and trying to sort through the noise. Dum 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 dum. Maybe we should start from the beginning. Do we really want... We could. We could start over. We can keep our HTML. We can keep... I think we can keep our HTML. I think we could keep our Java or our CSS. It would just be resetting the JavaScript. We could keep parts. This could work. This could work. Because, see, even, like, I had... Just like how I had, all 4 parts, number, decimal, math operator, and clear. I knew I had those things, but I wasn't sure what was going to happen with them. So in our if statement for pushing content, see, I still have the decimal section commented out because I didn't know what was going to happen with decimals. I started working on the code one step at a time as I would click on the 1. What did I want to see happen in the console and on the calculator? So the code progressed step by step, and then I figured it would apply to all scenarios. But it spiraled from there. Anyways, so we've got decimal and clear, which we haven't touched, which is why we have a decimal and clear function with still no stuff in them. All we have is the numbers and math operator. And all we were testing on originally up until yesterday was addition. Just trying to get addition. But the hardest part for me originally was converting the content, the string of the button face and compiling it, logging it with the correct variables. I also had separate variables before all this stuff. I had a sum variable, a difference variable, a product, and a quotient variable. It was bad. So we have cleaned up a lot of our code. And we're still heading down that path. It's been a rough road. Mostly due to myself, but we've known that. The issue with the code is Steven. But we've known that since Code Academy. Back in the beginning of the year. That has been a common theme. Dum 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 dum. What to do, what to do. What could I keep? I could keep our button events. We can get rid of subtotal. Do we need to keep button type? I'm not sure. Dum dum dum. Dum dum dum. Deep deep dee. Deep deep dee. Let's see, don't mind me. There's that. There's that. Nightbot is aggressive. Apparently Nightbot banned Graysol. Didn't even show on my phone. Crazy. We need to get Nightbot all sorted out. We should do the following. Where did... Yeah, there we go. Why isn't that showing? Well, I tried to unban Graysol, but it doesn't seem to... It's not showing in the chat. I tried unbanning twice. Hopefully that worked. Okay. Back into chat. Well, that's weird. Death. Still banned? No, no, no. Hold on. Hold on. Why doesn't it give me any options? Death. Death. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna figure this out. Flash. And erase all. Does that work? Ta-da! There we go. That's better. Alright. Where do we stand? Does our code even function as is? We need to... Hold on. I wanna jump to Twitch. I wanna save what we need to do. Is chat archived? Chat is archived. I still want to have it. I wanted to screenshot all of the helpful hints from Toasty and others, and Nightstorm. Pause. Okay, okay. Okay. Lol, Graceful banned, not banned? Where are all your messages deleted that? Yes, yes. We need to get... okay. Another, Nightstorm, another thing you can do, this is good, now that I can see the chat, it totally cleared out on my phone. Another thing you can do is setting up a variable to hold information regarding targeting your DOM elements. So you can write variable total equals... Oh. Right, variable total equals document get element by ID total. And then write total dot set text, blah blah blah. Interesting. We can have things flow in the other direction. So I don't need to key in numbers and tell the display to equal that. I can key numbers into the display and tell the equation to equal that. That's kind of cool. Interesting. Yeah, Toasty. These are special settings for BDX because he never looks at his chat and wouldn't ban by himself. Yeah, I've had at least, I don't know what the count is with Nightbot, and I hope there aren't other people that are banned that I don't know about. In fact, I need to check for that. But aside from that, out of the entire year of streaming, we've only had to ban one person, and that was the day I made Topher a mod, and it was so he could ban that person. And it was after I think it was around the 6-month mark. Is either like the day before or the day of the 6-month or 6-month mark or a day or two after. But yeah, we've only encountered one viewer, user, Twitchianite, Twitchyagan, I don't know, Twitchinese. That's not right. That we needed to ban. Anyone else? Yeah, no, that's a thing. So we'll clear with that. Okay. Toasty, you should make clear by the variable name that it is a DOM. You should make clear by the variable name that it is a DOM element. Okay. So maybe... would it be wrong if I were to put DOM in front of it? If I were to go that route and go DOM total? Maybe? If I had to do some type of variable or function related to dealing with DOM elements, that could be a thing. Braceall. You could mod me, so Nightbot doesn't ban me. We will put Nightbot in its place shortly, and then we'll see what's gonna happen. I'm not sure about adding more mods for now because I want to see how the changes, I guess, affect the stream or how the stream progresses post the year mark. In the meantime, we've got such few viewers. Topher's sorted everything out. He's the one who set up all the projects even, so we'll survive for now. Toasty indicating that Graysoul is the worst mod. That no. We're indicating that Nightbot is terrible. At least with its default settings. I figured Nightbot was everyone loves Nightbot. At least it seemed like everyone loves Nightbot. That's why we added Nightbot. That's okay. What are we looking at? Back to our calculator of doom, and at least we've got everything back up on our phone again for chat. Nightstorm. Function target. Oh, DOM element. Document dot get element by ID. DOM element return. Damn, okay, all of that noise. That is a clever way of doing it. I'm gonna take that bit. We are going to take that. Not gonna throw it in immediately, but we're gonna have it down below. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. Deep 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 deep. Yeah 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 yeah. Dum 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 dum. Good, good, good. And how's that's fine. Okay. We've got that. Is something to reference the guide in the future. Oh, I'm just coming to terms with the fact of walking away from all of this nonsense and starting from scratch. It means the 5 or 6 days of 2.5 hour streams was all for naught. Not technically all for naught, but fuck. We'll do it. We'll do it. We don't have to completely start 100% from scratch, but we will try our best. We will have, what, 3 functions in the end? What will we have? What's the easiest way we can set this up? Yeah, we'll have our event listener up top. Of sorts. Dum dum. We'll have a number function. We'll have a number function. We'll have a subtotal function. And we'll have an operator function. Equals technically doesn't need to be its own beast. We don't need a separate equals function, because with every number we key in after every math operator entered, we want it to update to what it equals. So that will be this. It's the final result. It will forever be subtotal something number. Alright, so something subtotal number. We'll do equals. So something subtotal number. We'll have a switch case. Or whatever the hell it equals. Cut. we'll have it as C. We'll have A, B, and C. Number. Well, we need to build our number. We still need to build our number. We're keying it in. Unless we go the DOM route, like below, and we reference the element and pull the data from there, which is an option. I don't know if that's better or worse. Not worse, but if we're shooting for efficiency. I don't know if it's more efficient or less efficient to go the DOM route for crafting our number. Currently, it's pretty straightforward. It's not, let's get rid of variable. I mean, really, it's just this line of code. We are passing num through. Then we had to verify it. But really, that's not going to change anyone's day. We've got a lot of comments here that can easily be cut out. We don't need the console log. We've got duplicates for everything. But that was just to see, as I was building it out, that was just to see what was occurring. And I just haven't gone through and cleared out the console log. Even cleaning up just the basic excess would probably work, which maybe I should consider doing that before totally hitting the kill switch. Dum 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 dum. Let's see. Nightstorm. Don't start over. You understand your code, which is good, Toasty. He doesn't understand his code, otherwise he wouldn't have run into an error. Nightstorm, there isn't a coder alive who doesn't run into errors. Nightstorm, by the way, in your HTML file, since you're using buttons, you can set their value with value equals whatever here. Oh, that way you can use that in your JavaScript. You're totally right. I could set a value. I was just going off of the face of the key, which even though these are just numbers, because of the data type, it comes over as a string into JavaScript, which is why I had to go through all the sorting and scraping and shifting things around. Huh. Yeah. Fascinating. Alright. I think we should go ahead. Jesus, it's almost 3:30. I think we'll be fine. We should be good. I just don't... I feel like if I start from scratch, then I'm gonna go down the same path. I feel like I'm gonna end up continuing... I feel like if I start from the same path, it will be my same kind of path that I've currently got, with some of the excess noise, like the comments that I have, the things that I've commented out stripped out of it, and with any of the additional fun little tips and tricks, like maybe taking advantage of some of the DOM element stuff. But I feel like I'm gonna head right back down the same path, and that doesn't sound fun. I'm concerned about restarting and ending up back in the same spot. Because the confidence for setting it up. Let's see. Toasty shouldn't make a difference. Suhin, it would come in handy if appearance had to be different. Well, that's true. That's an interesting thing. Yeah, if we did change the calculator, the layout of it, which we will be changing it in the future, but the way we have the CSS set up and referencing things by IDs and whatnot, it should mostly be fine. But yeah, that would be kind of cool. It would come in handy if appearance has to be different. Value is 0, but when you write something, 0. Yeah. Noted. Okay. Toasty. Doesn't make a difference right now. True. Good point. Suhin, think about your problem without JavaScript. Yeah, that's what led us down this path. It was tragic. It was an unbound thing. Yeah, like I couldn't even wrap my mind around like where to begin with the code. Aside from the basic, I knew I'd have a variable with some type of operator, another variable, and at least another number, maybe more, and that could repeat either another operator, another number, whatever, but at a minimum, two numbers with an operator, and it would equal something total. So that's. I knew that was at a minimum what I wanted. But then I kept experiencing things where. God, there was another calculator that we were using before as well. Damn. Can't remember. Anyways, what we needed to do was it wasn't so much the calculations that needed to occur. That wasn't really my problem. My problem was the functionality on how things occurred. I don't have the link and I don't remember what it was for the second calculator we were using in addition to this one. But if I did 12 plus 3 equals 15, cool, right? It's all there. But let's clear it. If we did 12 plus, and then we wanted to change our mind to minus, see, minus doesn't occur. It just stays as a plus sign, -3. It's still 15. You can't shift trajectory mid-equation. And that's what I was trying to do. So even from that step right there, I went down focusing on a totally different path. Because I want it to go 12 plus, no, -3, and then have it work out that way. So it was more of how to wrap my mind around those functionalities and how to change it and how to store that info. I kept coming across secondary issues and it just was all unbound. And it got ugly. It got real ugly. In fact, I don't even know if I still have that same functionality with how much I've changed my code currently. I don't even know where my code stands. I think it's totally fucked. We've got this. Because the other way it works currently with the other calculator is clear. 12 plus, if you want to change, if you hit the minus key instantly, it doesn't undo it. You have to do clear and then change it to minus, and then enter 3, and then do all of that noise, and it's just yeah. Okay, what's going down? Toasty. Let's see. Wait. Think about your problem without JavaScript. Suheen, launch the Windows calculator. Do common operations. Think once again what changes on the display. Toasty, make your notes. User input, calculation, output. Bros before. Suheen, can't go wrong with industrial espionage. Wink, wink. Graysol. Using Windows calculator on a Mac. Nightstorm, why not write a variable that pushes your values to that variable every time the user inputs a number? User clicks 2, so variable formula pushes 2 to that variable. Then after X amount of inputs, you have a long variable formula, then execute it. JavaScript will do the math, then render it on the display. Variable formula that pushes 2 to that. Well, before when we started, we had our number as an array. Now, true, that was just the initial number to create the string. But then we backed off from that. That way we could deal with just numeral values, not strings. So I had started to go down that path, but that got ugly. Yours is pushing the entire equation into one thing and then having it process, which, yes, that would be nice. I should probably head to that point. The user clicks 2, so the variable formula pushes 2 to that variable. Then after X amount of inputs, you have a long variable formula, then execute it. JavaScript will do the math, then render it on display. Suheen, oh wait, really? Toasty, ABC, ... equals total epic documentation. I mean, that's the world I want to live in. Suheen, yeah, font render is not Windows. Field dominant, Graysol, Nightstorm. If you want the user to be able to change their mind and select a different value, you need to have a confirm button. Otherwise, it won't know when to submit the real value while the user picks. See, that I want that though, because that's what I can do with my current calculator. In fact, I think most calculators on the fly. Let's go to OBS. See, if you do 12, yes, 12 plus 3 equals 15, right? Right? Clear. We do 12 plus, no, change your mind, minus 3 equals 9. That is the world I want to live in. No additional clearing, removing steps. It just works. And it should be that way for all of them. And that's what I want to achieve from the get-go. Which led me down this hilarious path. I'm going to find a way to make my calculator work that way. There will be no need for confirmation. I mean, yes, there will be the equals button to, like, finalize it. Which is why I had the whole separate equals case and then the function with all the noise and blah, blah, blah. I know it wasn't necessary and it was all, again, super sketchy, but I'm just trying to piece together. I guess I should just piece together exactly this. We can even keep the ABC in total format. Maybe we'll do that. We'll keep our event listener. We'll keep our event listener because it's listening to all buttons. We will still sort through all of the buttons with regex. We pass the value of that given button to function A, B, or C for the operator. And inside operation C, basically, we will have it won't actually be variable, but total. It will work. I'll find a way. We'll just make it as simple as possible. So if you put plus, minus, multiply, or divide, the operation that would be valid is plus, since it was the last one selected. So basically, write a function that lets the user sort of float between operations selected until a number comes into play. I did have that function when I could change at some point. I think it was like a day and a half ago. Doing like 4 plus minus 3 and it dropped down. From there we continued to add more code and it kind of fell apart. And then we had another major overhaul kind of like this. We keep making progress. I get more tips and stuff, and then I have to tear down a lot of noise and then rebuild from there. I've got like 0 progress to show for today. I think I get the feeling day 346 is doomed. Graysol, that seems not very intuitive, to be honest. I think regular calculator behavior is better. Oh, I get that. And I also know that coding a regular calculator where you have to confirm or deny the, 12 plus, oh, I made a mistake, let me clear that. Clear. And then you enter in the new symbol for minus. Either that one spot or clears out the whole number. That is far easier to construct. I get that. But I wasn't looking for that functionality when I started out 5 days ago. I realize the stuff. I realize something. God, I can't even realize. I feel like my brain coming to a halt. Dum da dum da dum da dum dum. We are going to need to do a massive overhaul, regardless. Even if it's keeping your code and just trimming out the fat, the excess noise. Let's see what's going down. Rose report. Progress report at 0. Agreed. In fact, I think we're into negative numbers at this point. Graysall, down to the single digits. Oh, wait. Toasty, no best days without worst days. Exactly. The days we struggle are all part of the process. Graysall, 365 days in a year, not 355. Feels bad. Yeah, we're getting there. We're down to less than 20. We are down to less than 20 days. Feels bad, man. Nightstorm, does your current calculator work? Can you do 2 plus 2 and will it render to the display? Graysall, Nightstorm was working yesterday. Technically 4 hours ago it was still working. Nightstorm, right? You shouldn't add features like switching to minus until the basic foundation is complete. Which is exactly, I was doing it step by step. I'd enter 1. I'd want to see it displayed. I'd enter plus, and I'd want to make sure it starred the 1 and added the plus. But then I was like, oh, what about changing to minus? And I just, with a blank slate, it was unbound. And it was tragic. It was tragic. Let me try running the calculator. I don't think we're in very good standing. Refresh. We've got an error on 144, which is our bitchin' code. Save. Let's comment out this noise. And I don't even know what else. Let's just save and hope for the best. Refresh. 2. Oh, good. Clicking on a 2 results in a 3. I think we may call it quits. I think that's a sign. It's 3:42 a.m. We're gonna go ahead and we'll save and push this to what's it called? Should we push this noise to GitHub? I feel like we made it way worse. I don't know if I should push it to yes, push it to GitHub. Own it. It was a terrible decision. We need to push it to GitHub. We will not hide from our confusion and stupidity. We will embrace it. Hey there, little kitty. You coming to reflect on our tragedy? Nightstorm. I saw the demon cat twitch. Be careful, man. No pun intended on that either. About saving, but no pushing. No. We need to push. We need to bear our confusion on a global scale. Hey there, little kitty. We're gonna move you because 1, 2, 3 team effort. Oh my. That was not graceful at all. Not graceful at all. I want to keep our streak alive at, what's it called? I want as much grain as possible towards the end. There are some gaps because there were certain days, well, there were days where we did forget to push afterwards. But there was a good gap in the middle where we got to do, something. Where we stopped to do Flexbox Froggy and Grid Garden. And like, so those other days, they were quote unquote justified. We had other activities we were doing. But on days where we did do work, if we count this as work in JavaScript, or in it's just such little. I don't even know if we made progress. Maybe day 46 should die. Suheen, how about saving it but no push? Local commit? Yeah. I like how it just walks off into the shadow and never returns. Never to be seen again. Alright, oh my god, you can't, Jesus. You can't even clip chats. We need to end it. Let's end it. let's do this. Let's push this noise to GitHub. It will show in the history. I don't even know what I'm looking for. Everything hurts. This was tragic. Okay. Okay. JavaScript hell. There's that. OBS. Good, good, good. Commit. And push. Thank God that's over with. Close. Get rid of that. Double check. GitHub. Disappointment. That was brutal. Yep. JavaScript. Deep, 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 deep. Let's go ahead and back out of all of this noise. There we go. Thank you again to anyone and everyone who stopped by to view the stream and or assist with tips, tricks, and other helpful hints. Today we had, well, it's hard to tell because the chat disappeared for a while, but when we came back, we had Graysol, Toasty, Nightstorm, 2516, we can barely read the usernames, Suheen, whom else did we have? Bros Before, and frickin' Nightbot. Of course we had Nightbot. I'm sure we had others, but I can't recall. And oh, we had McGrainberg earlier. We did have McGrainberg earlier. And I think that was the majority of chatters. That's a thing. Day 346 comes to a soul-crushing end. But the adventure continues tomorrow still with day 347 of the year of streaming and learning to code. In the meantime, we are stopping the stream. Are you sure you want to stop the stream? Hell yeah. Kill it!